episode 27 of the Dream Hills 2 podcast. Some news about San Miguel again. The controversial waste treatment plant that's planned for San Miguel de Salinas, it's not the only worrying scheme that the town is facing. A mining company based in Almeria, they presented a project to search for gypsum in the area and potentially install a vast open cast mine. According to their proposal, they want to prospect a 1,400 hectare area in San Miguel and Orihuela from the Camino de la Balsa road up to Torre Estrella and the Ciudad La Communications urbanization near the La Pedrera Reservoir, and then down to the entrance of the San Miguel de Salinas town at the CV95 road, which goes to Orihuela. The project itself was actually submitted in 2016, but it had gone unnoticed when last week it was put on public display, and this was to allow all landowners, residents and authorities to submit any proposals and objections. The objections and suggestions over the scheme can be submitted until October the 16th. An informative meeting has been organised for the 18th of September at 8 o'clock in San Miguel Archangel premises, which is at the Cal 19 de Abril 47 address. If you can go to this, it would be really good. I know it doesn't really affect us too much, but that is a big area, and it's going to be, if it does correspond with gypsum being found in the area, then it will, as I said, be a large open cast mine, which won't look very nice at all. You know, we've tried to have battles about waste treatment plants and various other things in the area, and this is one more thing which really we don't really want. So if you can get to that, please do. As I said, it's at the San Miguel Archangel premises, and if you can go there, please do. All kids, they've been returning back to school. But the school at the Playas de Orihuela area, which is the new school, which is situated in the Playa Flamenca area, it's been complete chaos. The new school itself wasn't actually supposed to be up and running until January next year, but the authorities actually decided that it could open this month. The Parents Association, the APA, said pupils had no desks, no chairs, and that some of them are actually using the old ones from the old school. They also say that there are not enough teachers, and as there is no secretary, parents cannot register the children at the school. Now, this seems really odd. You open a school, you have new pupils coming in, you can't actually register them because there's no secretary, there's not enough desks, not enough teachers. How do you actually run the school? Reminds me a little bit of the UK, local councils sometimes over here in the UK that get things amazingly wrong, and this one seems quite silly, really, to be honest. If you ask me, you just don't open a school and not have enough teachers and secretaries to actually register the children, but hopefully that'll get resolved pretty quickly. The airports itself, actually, domestic flights at the Alicante airport, this continues to increase its passengers, mainly due to domestic flights, which until August of this year, almost 9.5 million passengers had used the airport. The exact passenger tally is actually 9,481,176, and this represents a 0.3% increase on figures reported for the same period last year. Domestic flight passengers increased by 11%, which counterbalances the actual slight fall of 0.8% in international passengers of 8,443,730. Once again, the British were a vast majority of that 8 million, with actually 3,801,000 British there, followed way behind by the Dutch and then the Germans. I have noticed, though, that a lot more Russians are actually coming into the area, so they will most probably, up the totals eventually as well. And as we know, with Brexit coming up and really quite quickly at the moment, There are some new EU visa rules that have been outlined. These won't actually come into effect until most probably 2021 when the new system is up and running. But a press release from the European Community notes that it will apply to visa-exempt third country nationals travelling to the Schengen area. At the moment, the status that the UK residents will hold on post-Brexit still has not been formally agreed, so we don't know whether or not we will be one of these visa-exempt third country nationals yet. If we are, then it will be an online application, and it will be an authorisation fee of €7. The information submitted in each application will automatically be processed against EU and relevant Interpol databases to determine whether there are grounds to refuse a travel authorisation. Before boarding, air carriers and sea carriers will need to check whether the third country nationals subject to the travel authorisation requirement are in possession of a valid travel authorisation. It also notes that the EC adopted the regulation for the European travel information last week. He noted that if there was an element requiring an analysis, the application itself would be handled manually by the competent authorities. As we say, the system hasn't come in yet. We don't know how we will be classed as, whether we'll be classed as third party or not. So we'll see how that one goes. Ryanair, once again, the cabin crew are calling another strike. This will be a 24-hour strike by the cabin crew, and that will be on September the 28th. Cabin crew unions in Spain, Germany, Italy, Belgium and Portugal have already filed the call with the official EU bodies in Brussels. In Spain, a meeting scheduled between Ryanair managers and the cabin crew unions, with the General Director and the Employment Minister on September the 5th, had to be cancelled as the Director was forced to resign. Unions claim that the company has since not shown any intention of negotiating over salaries and work conditions as they demand. The unions also claim that September 28th stoppage will bring chaos to airports in Europe. But the Ryanair officials have rapidly answered this by saying that they've minimised it by advancing the cancellations and the relocation of passenger books on effective flights. These 24-hour disruptions, I can't see how they really work, to be honest. It's 24 hours. It does cause a lot of chaos to a lot of people. But, delaying a flight by 24 hours sometimes is very difficult for everybody, and sometimes not. So I can't see what effect that really has, and whether it sort of pushes Ryanair to do anything. Let's wait and see on that one. As we all know, Corvera Airport should actually be opening on January the 15th next year, with, as I said before, Jet2 and EasyJet the only airlines to confirm that they are moving to Corvera. But they will actually also be offering less flights to Corvera than they are at present at San Javier. Sorry for that. This is because they just don't know how many people are going to be coming there. Seems a little bit funny, that one, but a former Air Force Chief Technician Engineer, a man called Roger Carford, he's involved in a battle which, as most people might think, is a bit of a waste of time, but he's trying to keep Murcia San Javier Airport open to passenger aircraft and to make residents and the authorities aware of the massive impact that the closure would have on the local economy, jobs and the daily lives of all the local people, regardless of their nationality. Mr. Garford, he's lived in Santiago de la Ribera for 5 years, and in May 2014 he set up the Association for Not Closing San Javier Airport. He managed, with the support of the local Socialist Party and airport workers, to get 2,000 people to sign his petition to keep the seaside airport open, and the petition was submitted to a national PSOE deputy in Madrid. The closure of the San Javier affects the workers at the airport, the suppliers and the local tourism industry, he said. San Javier not only serves residents in the Mar Menor and Cartagena area, but also many people in South Alicante. He says that passenger numbers have been increasing at San Javier in recent years, but the initial scheduled flights for Corvera Airport will see a dramatic fall. He also said that he's worried that the Corvera Airport itself stands close to the active Alhama de Murcia fault, which leads to many earthquakes in the area. And as we do know, we have had various earthquakes and quite a few this year in the local area. Haven't caused too much damage, but they have been quite regular. So let's see what happens with this one. I think it's a bit like Brexit, really. I can't see them keeping San Javier open. It's Corvera Airport will be up and running. Should be up and running on January 15th. We'll wait and see on that one. And also whether or not Ryanair do eventually decide to fly to Corvera as well. If it's only going to be Jet2 and EasyJet and they only have, say, 1 or 2 flights a week, I think then Corvera Airport, it will survive because it has to. But I can't see many people actually flying in there to come to our area. They'll all go to Alicante. And I think that's where most of the flights will actually go to eventually. So let's wait and see on that one. And also, just a quick one. I'll be coming out to the area. October the 14th, I'm coming out there. If anybody knows any of the local businesses there, I would like to try and get some interviews with those businesses and asking them, when they moved out into Spain, why they decided to start a business and how they see the future. So if anybody knows anybody that is willing to do an interview with me, that'd be great. And then I'll post that up onto the podcast or when I get back. Once again, thank you for listening. It's a great pleasure speaking to all of you and giving you as much information as I can. And I'll get back to you all next week. So once again, thank you and goodbye.